You have been working 24/7.
I don't color outside the lines very often. But I think it's time I start scribbling all over the page.
December 19th.
They want to use our tree as the official state Christmas tree at the Capitol building.
Spent every Christmas with that tree. I can't imagine the holidays without it.
Excuse me? I'd like to talk to you for a second about,
I like your antlers.
Oh.
Elise Bauman.
I just don't want to give her false hope like I'm interested. Like, we're interested.
Sure.
Tattiawna and Jones.
Merry Christmas, Alma.
To Charlie, can I get you anything else? Charlie, hello.
Ricki Lake.
You know, nothing's random. The next person you meet could be the person who changes your life.
What if I'm not ready?
Nobody's ever ready. That's when the magic happens.
Under the Christmas Tree. Premieres Sunday, December 19th at 8. Part of It's a Wonderful Lifetime.
Hey everyone, it's Anthony Allen Ramos. Okay, we've got another queer holiday film. So exciting. Under the Christmas Tree is Lifetime's first movie centering around a lesbian holiday love story. The story follows a Christmas tree whisperer named Charlie who finds a perfect tree in the backyard of a woman named Alma. Soon, sparks begin to fly. 'Tis the season. And, you know, there's a little bit of help from Alma's friend Marie in this love story. And I'm so excited to be talking to the stars right now. This is Elise Bauman, Tattiawna Jones, and of course, the great Ricki Lake. How are you all?
I'm so happy to talk to you. I'm great.
Hey, Anthony.
Well, I gotta say, like, it is wonderful that we have a lesbian holiday love story. And, you know, for Elise and Tattiawna, for both of you as part of the community, what does it feel like to get to be a part of this big moment in history where, you know, we're finally getting this kind of representation in this genre? Maybe, Elise, if I'll start with you.
Sure, yeah. It's been amazing. I think one of the best things about it is everyone that we get to share it with. We had, you know, a lot of queer people in key roles on set, which was really awesome and just made for a really fun and collaborative and just wonderful experience. You know, it's really exciting to be one of the firsts, and it's, you know, a little scary to be one of the firsts, but it's also, I'm just really, really looking forward to being one of many. Like, I can't wait. It's really exciting that we're not like, that this is happening for the first time. And I can't wait to be, you know, one of so many that we get to see in the future.
Tattiawna, or I guess if I can say Tats, I like that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's my screen name, yeah.
I love that. What does it mean for you to get to be a part of this story, this love story between Alma and Charlie?
I think any kind of marginalized representation is super important. So the fact that we get to be a part of that, something that we don't always see, that just makes me happy to be part of a project that will give people a glimpse into how one way it could possibly be.
I love that. And Ricki, for you, one of our fierce allies, you've been to many GLAAD awards, you've done many campaigns for us, have a long history of being supportive of the LGBTQ community. This is a big return for you as well. You're back in front of the camera, which we love. How good does it feel to have that moment be such an important moment for LGBTQ representation?
It's so on brand. Thank you. Like, for me, you know, I don't act very much anymore. This opportunity came along, and the fact that it's like the first lesbian love story on Lifetime. I mean, first of all, it's about freaking time. And for me, you know, I got my start obviously with John Waters and being on a set with Divine and that, you know, that whole crew, but also with my show. I really pride myself on my show back in the 90s, showing representation for all love, all types of love. And I really love the fact that we were able to treat every relationship like any other. And yeah, it feels very, very at home to be a part of a project like this. And these women were so freaking talented. The story is so sweet. And I'm so happy to be a part of it.
It is a very sweet film, everyone. Ricki, you mentioned Divine, because oftentimes with our allies, I always like to ask, like, was there a family member, or was there someone that you met early on that, you know, made you want to be an ally to the community? Was the first person, or was that because of Divine and that whole experience with John Waters?
Absolutely. I mean, I was plucked from complete obscurity. I'd never really been around openly gay people before I was put on that set when I was 18 years old. And so, yeah, that's where I got my roots. And that was like the most colorful set you've ever seen. And I'm so grateful that that was my start. So it was just natural for me. And when I hosted my show 5 years later, it was just normal to treat everyone equally. And you never think of that as groundbreaking. It's just being a person and compassionate, you know?
Absolutely. So many good things that you've done. Elise, if I can come back to you, so much about what we do at GLAAD is around representation. And we know how important it is for LGBTQ people to see themselves on screen, feel represented. You know, thinking about this in this moment where we're finally having more inclusive films, thanks to people like Lifetime. What do you think it would have meant for you to maybe have been a younger person and see a story like this on television?
Oh yeah. I mean, I love the idea of someone like being in their living room and their mom has this on the TV and like a young kid is just like, wait, what? Like, I think that's so that I love that this can be like an unsuspecting film, that someone could just like start watching this and not realize that it's a queer love story and just get to like go on that ride. And I think making content that is accessible to people who are maybe like newer to the community is really important. And I think that would have definitely made a big difference in my life growing up. You know, my coming out process was a long journey. And so, yeah, anything that people get to see themselves reflected, I think is really important. Because if you're showing an entire community that they don't deserve to be seen on screen, then you're telling people that they need to be in hiding. And so it's really exciting to, you know, be one of the ones that gets to be out loud on screen. Yeah.
Very well said. Tats, for you, what would it have meant for you to turn on the TV and see Charlie and Alma when you were a kid?
Oh man, well, I came from a tiny little town in Northern Ontario that, as far as my experience went, only had binary options. So it would have been incredible to see that as another option, because I wasn't introduced to any kind of LGBTQ anything until much later in life. And so that would have been incredible to see that, know that it exists, that it was an option, regardless of what the environment around me may or may not have been saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to just add, that, you know,
Yes.
with my show, I mean, to this day, I have people come up to me all the time saying, thank you for showing someone like me on your show. I was able to come out, or I was able to see myself on screen represented. And yeah, it stays with you, you know, especially in your living room. You know, television is such a medium where it's so intimate. You know, they're watching from in their underwear in their bed, and then when they see someone that looks like them and they don't see that in their hometown, it really is powerful.
So powerful. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, as awesome as all of that is, Elise, when you got the part and then you realize I am going to be acting with Ricki Lake, I mean, what was that moment like for you?
I mean, listen, this cast was like unreal, and just getting to like share the screen with all of these like iconic people, it was honestly just such a blast to film. Like, we filmed it in September, and we were all like bundled in these, you know, extraordinary winter jackets. Meanwhile, we're like sweating in the September heat. And, you know, we had like fire pits going at base camp. And I remember a night that Ricky and Enrico and I, Colin Tony, who plays my dad, we were just sitting around the fire and talking about life. And I was like, this is the best, man. Like, I want all sets to be like this.
It was a beautiful, like camaraderie. And
Yeah.
I mean, these women, the dialogue that they had, they knew. I mean, I was rusty. Let's call it as it is. I am not used to being in front of the camera.
It was so much fun to like act across someone who was like discovering it again for the first time, though.
It was really
I
fun.
loved that. It was so great. It was so fresh
yeah.
and exciting.
I'm not great with dialogue anymore. I'm getting old. Too much ambient back in the day.
Definitely, you could definitely feel the chemistry and the love between all of you. Tats, your character Charlie also has some great scenes with Marie, who's played by Ricki. What was it like to, you know, get to have fun with Ricki Lake on set?
One take Lake, baby.
Or so they say.
Or so they say. It was fantastic. Ricky's a pro on set, an absolute pro. It was a pleasure to get to work with her. I know Ricky from her documentary filmmaking. I'm such a big fan of the documentaries she puts out. So it was a real treat for me to get to meet her in person and work with her. Yeah, just an absolute pro.
I love you.
I love that. Ricki, for, like I said, for you've done so many things. Do you think that this, holiday movie might be the start of something else for you? Do you think you may want to continue on this route? Because, a lot of actors fall in love with the genre and then we see them pop up in, different stories. Maybe you could be a part of another queer love story. You never know.
You never know. But I actually have a project with my partner, the woman, Abby Epstein, I make documentaries with. And so we have a project that I want to pitch for Lifetime. Maybe Danielle Van Zernick wants to help produce it. But about a midwife. So Christmas love story, but with a midwife. So that's my what's the subject matter that's near and dear to my heart. I made a documentary called The Business of Being Born many years ago. And yeah, acting is definitely something that I still love. Like it's not as natural to me as hosting a show or producing behind the scenes, but it was such a welcoming set to be a part of this, to get back to my roots.
Love that. Elise, with this film and with it being a holiday film, it will live on. It will be played many times. And just a reminder, it is going to premiere on December 19th at 8 on Lifetime. But there's such an opportunity, as you said, about families seeing this film multiple times, maybe every year. What do you hope that what do you want people to talk about? What do you want them to take away from this story?
Well, I think one of the beautiful things about our film is that it strikes this really delicate balance of, sticking to the Lifetime brand of being really like wholesome, and it's really accessible to younger people and people of an older generation. I love the idea of, aunts and uncles and people who, maybe don't know as many queer people in their life, or young kids who are, growing up and in smaller towns and getting to see this. I love that it could to reach that broader audience. But it's also queer, it's really, I think it really, does the community proud and doesn't shy away from anything. And so I really hope that, people who are not in the community get to see it and maybe have their eyes opened a little bit, and maybe like inherently like understand something about someone that they might be related to who's queer and they haven't quite, made that connection yet. And they go, and that also that queer people get to see it and just have like a fun movie to watch over the holidays, Yeah, so that's my hope.
It is a lot of fun. Tats, do you want to add anything about that, on what you hope that viewers that see this story take away from?
I just hope whoever watches it sees themselves in some way, shape, or form, regardless of what community you're from. I hope that can spark some conversation. If you see yourself at all in any of our characters, then yep, we've done our job.
Love that. Ricki, anything you want to add on that?
Love is love.
Love that. Ricki, I have to ask, because not to spoiler, but your character Marie is a legend in the kitchen, we shall say. Are you as comfortable around the baking and the cooking and all of that as your character?
I'm very comfortable with the eating. No, I have this really amazing kitchen that, I moved into this house this year, and it's pretty amazing, and I'm just getting the hang of it. But I know I'm not a cook, but I love food.
Me too.
You got to spoon feed me macarons at one point. It was the highlight of my year. Great. Great.
That's right. There, it had something crazy. It was like a rosemary something macaron or something. Yes, I remember.
I don't know what it is, but whoever was in charge of buying those on set.
I love that. Before we wrap up, this is a holiday film. I've been asking everyone, are we big Christmas people? What are our holiday traditions? Feel free, anyone, to kind of share what the plans are this year.
Well, I did not do a tree this year, which is so shameful. And I'm also Jewish, so it's more of a cultural thing for me than a religious thing. But
Yes.
I'm going to be celebrating with my fiance's family. He comes from a big Mormon family, so not Mormon anymore, but we're going to be gathering. So I'll be with a lot of family this year.
Wonderful. Elise, how about you?
This year I'm meeting my girlfriend's parents for the first time.
Oh my gosh.
Woo! On Christmas, on the actual day of Christmas. So I made a joke that I was like, I'll write that Lifetime movie and we'll see that next year.
I would tune in. What's the game plan of you? I mean, that's a big moment in the.
I stressed over gifts. I had anxiety nightmares for weeks. I think I landed on something. I went too far. I pulled it back. We'll see how it goes.
Well, good luck with that. I'm sure it's going to be amazing. Tats, what are your plans for the holidays?
Just keeping it low key. Gonna visit some family and some friends. I'm gonna do some eating and walking the dog. Those are my plans.
That sounds exactly like my plans. Walking the dog and eating and family and friends. It's perfect. It does not get any better. And honestly, everyone, be sure that you check out all of these amazing people in Under the Christmas Tree, which premieres December 19th at 8 o'clock on Lifetime. And then I'm sure you can catch it in a rerun because you'll definitely want to watch it over and over again.